All right, my name is Britt Brown. I'm with Trade Hive, founder of it. Been doing this for over 30 years. I have a link in there if you want to actually get this view on Goto Meeting. If you look in the description, you can actually get this so there's no latency if you're trading. That would be important. If you just want to listen, that's cool too. But basically, we're trading the MNQ. Had a great plan this morning. Came in looking for this market to either show us some stability and move above the 26,000 with some buying. And if it didn't materialize, we were looking at this market getting cracked. So it's been a crazy couple of days and certainly an amazing Sunday night as we came into this. You can also grab my information, give away a free playbook every day. Typically, I cover the NQ, but it depends on really when I'm watching and looking to trade. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's Bitcoin, if there's a good market set up there. Crude oil and the ES. So primary trading is the ES as well as the crude oil. Currently, we are looking at on the screen here for YouTube, you've got the 5-minute up there, and we're looking at a little bit of consolidation and to try to get higher, make a move higher. I'm watching Delta. That's a big part of what I do. So I will typically either swing trade or I will begin to go into scalping mode. Right now I've been in scalping mode. Purpose of this today is really, this is my first opportunity to try to get into the YouTube space, share some knowledge. Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. And so, again, there's a lot of information I can share and help you if you're trying to become a professional trader, if that's really kind of your MO. I think you'll find my information very insightful. My background, I started out in the pits. I managed an institutional desk. So I understand how the institutions play. And I always tell the traders that I coach from an institutional level or professional side, and those trying to get there, that especially the retailer, your job is to recognize what the institutions are doing and to get involved, let them do the heavy lifting, and then you jump on board. So right now we're watching this market try to get some legs and get out of the hole here. We got down right into what we would consider the golden zone of a fib on the 60-minute. It retraced perfectly into that little zone. And we have a B shape on the volume profile right now. There was really good volume on the way down. So I think caught a lot of guys by surprise that we actually made this dip. But this is pretty natural for the market. If you've watched my videos in the morning, just kind of sharing my playbooks, I will tell you that it is focused on giving you a bias. It's not really necessarily there to tell you how to trade. And ultimately, you come up with a bias. You're the trader, right? I could teach you systems that are profitable, but the biggest part about trading is probabilities. And so if you can understand that, you're miles ahead of the typical retail trader that's struggling. So with that said, like I said, if you want to jump on the Goto Meeting side of it, there is a link there. You can jump. There's no latency there. And as soon as I kind of see some people jump over there, then I will make a switch. And matter of fact, I've got my chart up on that, and you'll see a book map as well. That'll be more of a live feed for you. So ultimately, my job here is to just kind of call the market for you. I'm done trading for myself, and legally, I cannot trade as a professional trader and give you advice. That's not what my licenses are for. But I can call the market and give you a really good idea of what's happening. Right now, I watch CVD. I'm watching the book map, and then I've got other programs out there that are telling me when the buyers and sellers are getting absorbed, where they are. As an example, if you jump over the Goto Meeting side of it, you will see Right now, I've got the book map, a 15-minute and a 1-minute. I watch the 1-minute sometimes for entries if I'm scalping really fast. Typically, size trader. In the MNQs, I'm trading normally 5. I mean, my old days of being a heavy lifter in the market, and I was one of the biggest locals in the pit. You know, it wasn't unusual to have 500, close to 1,000 contracts. And, you know, I'm 55 now, guys. So just understand that my risk is going down, and I'm just kind of focused on coaching and trading for myself. But with that said, the CVD is getting hit right now. We had a nice little run up, and we have not been able to break out of the B shape on volume profile. We've got VWAP sitting above us, sitting right around 25,668. And so right now we're duking it out. Basically, if you look at yesterday on the volume profile where the heavy lifting was in the very beginning, where we came out and the buyers materialized and then we got up to the highs and then we consolidated again. We've given those up, and this is all about price discovery. We did not have enough buyers up in that zone above 26,000 to formulate a run back into the daily bull trend, and so that kind of disrupted plans. And institutions were incredibly long from the bottom, and as I said in my playbook this morning and on the video, that they would be sellers up there, and sure enough they were. So right now we had some pretty good buying coming out of here. The CVD made a low approximately, it was about 935, made another attempt about 945, and then immediately rejected. There was some really good buying down there, not as well as we were buying on Monday morning. But you've got sellers trapped right now, about 30 lots down on the low of that wick, which is promising for the buyers. Buyers are starting to accumulate at 580. They again accumulated up at the 590, and they're again accumulating another 34 lots right here right now at this price frame. You've got some sellers that tried to give it a stab. They sold about 28 lots at 596.75, and again they sold right below that at 91, another 30 lots. So right now we're watching CVD. If I was scalping, this is not a trade for me. If I was really aggressive, my stop would be right under the 590 level, looking to go with this momentum. But I'm not seeing CVD actually at this point right now. We're pretty flat. It's not telling me, hey, these buyers are super aggressive and to get on this bandwagon out of this hole. If I was playing for the upside, my target would be the VWAP sitting at 666.70, and it's starting to flatten out, which is pretty interesting from the perspective of if you're trading. I'd be looking for this consolidation down here. We don't have much of a reason to go any lower than where we went. Doesn't mean we can't go down there. It just means that it's not there. We've got buyers stepping in right now. Buyers are stepping in at 619, 620, 622. Got another buyer bought another 20 lots at 625. Still accumulating, still trying to push. CVD is still flat. We're not going with this move. Looking at Bookmap right now, you've got another 28 offered up at 37.50 waiting for you. That's in the bigs. I'm quoting the MNQ right now. I'll let you know either way. Right now, sellers stepped in. Buyers ran out of juice. CVD's getting hit. So you can see some passive selling was waiting for this market up here. And again, if you're trading the MNQs, you need to know where the NQ is. But we do have some pretty good buying. We got above a level on the 15-minute side. There was 318 contracts bought at 25,602 in the MNQs. And that is where they got stuck before we really took a nosedive for roughly 100 points. So they're back in the money right now. And what will be interesting is to see if they can get CVD to make a move. We are making a higher high if you look at that 1 minute, but we're not making higher highs from the CVD standpoint, matching price. So I would imagine you're probably going to see some sellers step in here. I'm looking also, I trade a 9 EMA and a 32. It'll be interesting to see if they can get this up to the 9 EMA on the 15-minute, which is sitting at 690 on the upside. You've got buyers stuck. We had a buyer come in on MNQs, picked up 36 lots at 629. And that would be, if I was selling, that would be my stop, right? I like to see that. Then you had a seller come in and hit it for another 22 lots. And I'd want to know, hey, this is a cheap trade to the downside. I'm not getting CVD to go in my favor. Again, it's all about risk. That was one thing I would tell you is that if you're going to take a trade from a position, it's always going to be about risk first. I know retail traders tend to look at where's their profit. I look at risk first, and then I look at the profit zone. So again, if I was short up there, I'd be looking to take my profits right around 600. And then as soon as I can get about 10 to 15 contracts in it, I would immediately go to break even or a little bit positive to make that move. CVD is still flat right now. We've got on the bigs, right, 612, 615. We've got a pretty decent little spread going on right there as far as size is concerned. I don't really see anything until you get above 625. Then you'll start running into a little bit of selling. Again, you've got a VWAP for the day sitting right up in that 650, 660 area. On the 5 minutes, sitting at 666. So keep that in mind. Again, traders are going to be watching those stuck buyers that are sitting above that 630. Buyers are coming in, but I'm not seeing anything that's of substance, meaning anything more than, say, 20 lots. My computer program is going to kick off. I did have 20 just popped up right now. That was 26 spot at 618. And sellers just came in and hit it and sold 33 down at 610. So this is a wrestling match right here. We'll see if we consolidate right here and then go, or if they give up on this VWAP here and then we start to head lower. Again, you know, if I was short, I'm already out because it hit the 9 EMA sitting at 603. And I'm adjusting, just so you understand, like if the EMA, if I'm counter trend on a short term and that EMA is rising against me, I'm going to adjust my profits. And after a minute or two, if I don't get what I'm looking for, then I'm out. Now, we just had somebody pop up. Buyer tried to absorb down here at 604. Total of 22 contracts right there. If I was long, where would my stop be? It'd be down at 587. I would not want to be participating there if CVD starts to crack. CVD is holding up pretty good. Like I said, we're kind of flat right now. There's not a huge momentum shift to the downside. That was a good move to the downside. That was a seller. Seller just got stuck. Little stop run right there. And they sold 23 contracts down to 592.75. You got a bunch stuck here, another 50 lots stuck at 600, and another 21 lots stuck at 599. So sellers are trying to get aggressive. CVD did drop just a little bit, so I'd be watching that as well. We're still having a hard time getting up to a bigger time frames 9 EMA, so that's a sign. Again, we just got out of that golden zone, and now the question is on the 60-minute, can we hold or do we head back in? Logistically, if you're looking at probabilities, you're probably looking at this market trying to at least attack about 50% of that wick on the 60-minute. Would be a legitimate spot if you were playing it to the short side. Sellers are still stuck down there. Sellers are still stuck down there. So if I was buying right here, I would use that last seller flush down to 592.75 as a point of reference for a stop. I think they're going to take it out, so it's not someplace that I'd be super aggressive buying. And CVD is not giving me any indication that this is a great place to buy. So keep that in mind. Still looking at the NQ's heat map right now, and the play really isn't until you get up above the 637. We've got a little bit of buyers sitting down at that 500 level, so this is getting a little bit sketchy. One of the reasons I really like my program where it shows me where those bigger orders are coming in is when I can't get into a move, if I'm just trading candles and I'm not using order flow, and the move takes off, it's really difficult from a risk standpoint to take a trade, right? If it's going up, it's up 60 points. Where do I get in? I still got CVD going up, but what's my risk? Buyers just came in to absorb right there, bought 83 contracts at 576. You got another seller sitting down there, still hasn't been made whole. They sold 32 down to 572 when that buyer showed up. You got another buyer that just showed up, bought 50 lots at 585.25. So buyers are trying to make a stand here. CVD is still cracking. If you look at CVD on the NQ, we're down right around negative 5,000. Sellers are trying to make another push here. So you can see, like, all of a sudden you're starting to see these sellers come in. They're selling 20s and 50 lots. So you'll see a buyer come in. I've got three progressive buy orders that came in. Again, that 580 level, they bought 38. On that last candle, on the 1 minute, they bought 50 lots up to 585.25. And so if you're a buyer, you're hanging on this guy down here that bought 83 contracts at 576. You crack 576, and then I think they're going to make this seller hold that sold 32 down at 572. Watching the 9 EMA on the 5 is starting to roll over. Starting to roll over on the QQQs. Starting to roll over on the 5 minute on the SPY. So they're going to get a little bit of help right there. Again, more sellers came in. They made that one seller whole at 32 lots over down to 572. And they sold another 20 lots at 570, sold another 24 lots at 65, another 37 lots at 64, and another 25 lots at 62. So buyers are in trouble. That buyer up there, that 83, a total of 120 above us, that's what I'd be watching. They're going to have to defend here, or this could get pretty ugly pretty quick. You've got another seller that's stuck down at 30 lots down at 550. That's kind of the benchmark right there. If you are long, that is what I would consider as a stop point. I would not want to be in. If you're playing it from the short side right now, you're 50-50 on probabilities whether you're going to be right or wrong. Buyers are showing up right now. Buyer came in, absorbed 20 lots at 570, trying to kick it up and trying to get this 9 EMA to start to roll back to the upside. CVD is now starting to head back up. You're seeing the buy momentum come in. Another buyer just showed up, bought the top part of that wick, 27 lots at 587. You got 41 offered in the bigs right now, another 20, 38, total of 50 lots up to 612 that are waiting for you as passive sellers. We are definitely stacking on the longer term time frames. We are definitely stacking some more buying down here, but it's lower, right? So if you're looking at the structure of this market right now, let's say on a 5 minute, you're a short-term time trader. Again, it's be considerate, understand that 50% of that wick is probably on the 1 hour is probably the focal point right now. And if you look at where all the congestion is down at the very bottom, it would not make sense to just keep running. We could make a higher high here. However, I think they're going to try to press it down a little bit before they head back up, which is pretty much how the NQ works. Just watching this right now. Got some buyers down in the 50s. Total of about 50 lots in the big ones. We just had a big buyer show up and absorb 93, over 100 lots there at the 65 area on the MNQs. Sellers are still, no big lots are trading right now. So these are singles. There you go. We just had a seller step in, sell 43 contracts down to 560. So watch that. They're still going for that 550 level. Still going for the 550, but I'm not seeing CVD say if I'm trying to really press to the short side right now, I need some help, right? So, understand, like, if you're trading, you have a mindset that you're trying to go somewhere, but you have no control. One trader can disrupt a really good trade, right? And that's why you hear me talk about probabilities and you hear me talk about risk. And this is really what I'm trying to bring to you is an understanding of how institutions actually work, right? And it's risk first. if your behavior is not in line, you could be a really good trader. But if you're rogue, you're not going to stand on that desk very long. They're going to get rid of you. So again, if risk managers are looking at every trader's portfolio, what they're doing for those desk guys that are trading on the prop side of it, not your prop retail account type of thing, but on a real prop desk, and they're looking at, hey, they came in, they ended up accumulating some trades, they're net long. If they don't like the way it's looking, if they've got a little bit too much exposure, they will walk up and tell them to trim, right? So right now I'm watching, there's 43 sold down to that 560 total on, not quite at the bottom of that wick. That would be if I was taking a shot to the upside and I saw CVD go to the upside, that would be where my stop would be placed. Where would I be looking to get out? Probably right above 588.25. I still think the sellers are in control right now, but I'm not seeing that momentum to the downside. Again, now what is this showing me? I'm seeing lots of little wicks form on the 1 minute, meaning that the retailers are trading right now. I'm not seeing any kind of institutional, any kind of funds doing anything right now. And the reason I say that is because they're the guys that are throwing the 50, 100, 200, 300 lots around. We do have, keep in mind that off of Sunday night, you had a buyer that bought 1,400 contracts in the bigs at 25,400. He is still in the money. I'm sure he was probably selling all night long on his programs up towards the high because we were near premium. And there's that test, what I was telling you, at that 550 level. Sellers are going to try to press right here, but it's not real impressive with the CVD. Now you got a seller coming in. Seller just sold 50 lots at 550, another 31 lots down to 539. Buyers trying to absorb right now, bought 23 right here, 543. They're trying to hold tight. That's the flush you were looking for if you were playing for the short side. Looking at the 5 minute, 5 minute traders are looking at, there was 150 bought down here at 543, 544. You had another 184 bought at 43.5. So if you are long and you're banking on that, that's where they're trying to flush you out. Where would your stop be? You could either put it right underneath where they got in, right under 530, which would be a nice safe protection. I don't think if you can crack this and get a close underneath that, I think you're going to go try to challenge the lows. Currently, I have another seller that just stepped in, sold 31 lots down to 540. You had a big trader come in, sold 184 lots at 542.75. I'm not seeing anything like materialize super large on the NQ right now. I'm seeing 5 lots, 16 lots. They've got buyers down here sitting at 69 on the bigs at 500. Still waiting, but you're going to have to get through about 75 contracts to get to them. All right, that seller is stuck right now. That's what I'd be looking for. If I was playing to the upside, right? CVD is now responding. CVD is on the up move. Doesn't mean we can't go down and make a new high. It's just now I'm watching, right? If they can't get CVD to follow through, this seller down here in the hole at 184 contracts is now going to be my point of reference if I was long down here. What would I be trading up to? If I was long, I'd be holding a stop right there and looking for about 564 on a scalp. That would have given you about 24 handles on that trade. I still think sellers are still in control. So there we go. There's your pop. There's your buy. Okay, so they just cleaned them up. That was a good scalp if you were long down there. You had a great risk reward. You had a 2-3 to 1 type of trade right there. Sellers just came in, tried to absorb 34 times. They got ran over. Another seller just shot in, sold 104 contracts on the bid at 571.25. They're trying to absorb right here. CVD is not following, not following. So that's one of those things. Sellers are stacking right now. Just sold another contract, 20 contracts down to 566. Now we're going to duke it out here for a minute. I'm looking for any kind of size. Still better size on the bids. Still better size on the bids down here. I'm still I would be focused on that seller that's stuck almost 200 lots down at the very bottom of that. Buyers are getting aggressive. Buyer just bought 34 contracts at 77. Seller came in and absorbed it and sold another 20 down at 575.50. Still looking at buyers coming in. CVD starting to crank up right now. So if you're long, this is one of those things you could have had a runner. I wouldn't have had a runner right here, but I think the sell was right where that big seller came in, down at that level of 571.25. That would have been an out, and let everybody else wrestle for this. I'm looking at the 9 EMA on the Qs is kind of flat, trying to turn up. Buyers are trying to show you a higher low. CVD still looking pretty good. We're coming out of the hole. We're right back to where we started. So again, you know, that buyer that's stuck just got made whole at 587. But look what happened. Immediately just wicked it and then started to retreat. So sellers are coming in, but this is all retail right here. I don't see anybody that's throwing some size. Here's a size buyer trying to absorb. Bought 50 contracts at 566.75. Again, watch that 9 EMA. If the 9 EMA can get going to the upside, you might get a little bit of help right here. The thing you're fighting against today is the 9 EMA on the 4 hour that was positive, just went negative on that big move down, and that's going to keep that momentum on the CVD side. That's one of those things. When you start seeing the 9 on the bottom side of the 32 on a higher time frame like that, you're going to get some heavy selling from the institutions. The institutions look at this stuff, right? So anything I'm telling you about what I'm looking at is looked at on the desk. We had a buyer step in right here. Buyers are trying to absorb. Bought 100 contracts at 558 in the micros. We had a seller step in on the bigs and sold just 10 lots at 560. Nothing big to report there. Still better offers up at 605. They're starting to stack some offers in the bigs right there. Again, buyers having a problem. They're trying to absorb down there. That 100 lots at 558 isn't underwater. They had another buyer come in, tried to support that, 22 lots at 557. Another buyer showed up, trying to absorb at 552.25. The line in the sand again to the downside is that 542.75. So if I was buying down here, that would be where I'd be sitting my stop, looking for another run to the upside. But CVD's given everything up that it made, and the advantages to the sellers right now. So I think they're going to make this guy hold this 184 lots down at 542. That's what I would expect. The 9 EMA on the 5 is giving up whatever it was trying to do to the upside. So unless buyers can step in here, they are running into a buzzsaw. This is all retail right now. I don't see anything that's of substance. I'm waiting for some buyers to show up. Still just running. Might be an algo running a little bit. Remember, sometimes you got to go up to go down. I don't like, if I was long, I would not like this wick right here. I'd want to see a buyer come in and give me some help, and I'd want to see CVD start to pop. But we're negative 5,300 in CVD, and we're getting ready to go make a new low. Sellers are coming in. They're hitting it pretty good. So all the pressure's on the bids. They're just hitting bids right now. There's somebody in here, just small size. 1Zs, 2Zs, 4Zs, 5Zs. They're trading. Still nothing big. This looks like algo generated trading right now. Trying to get that, trying to save this 9 EMA. If I'm looking at this market right now, again, just kind of follow that 550 zone. I said it before. Had some buyers try to absorb down here. Bigger wicks to the upside. Still telling me the sellers are taking advantage of any kind of bids that come in. Still looking at that large seller down there. He sold about 200 total lots down at 542. Expect him to get made whole here. CVD is still getting hit, even though you see these little bids come to the upside. If I was playing to the short side, I'd be looking for any kind of bid to run up to about 68 with a stop above the 77. That would give you about a 9-point risk to the downside. That's a good risk reward because you're looking at making probably 30, 40, 50 points on that if that does play out. Buyers are trying to make a stand here. CVD is still down. We're still under 5,300. Nothing here. Nothing here. Nothing here. Buyers still getting absorbed and hit. I think the algos have done their job. Get ready for a flush here. That's what I would expect. And if I was going to take a trade, I would definitely move my stop down to 62.25. If we made a high above that, your probability is definitely to the downside. We had somebody come in and sell 25 lots at 547. Again, if I was being aggressive here, I would probably be moving my stops down to 555, 555-ish area. I do not want to get stuck in the hole, but momentum's on your side. CVD still negative 5,400, but I'm not seeing anybody come in. They're not really making a play. I want to see some size come in and hit the bids. They are stacking. All those big orders that were up above in the big NQ are now moving down to the 575 level, 595 level. Here we go. Still trying to press, trying to make this 200 lot seller down here in the hole. Hole again. Let's see if he stays with it or if he gives up on it and turns this thing around. CVD is negative 5,400. Again, we kind of pop a little bit, get CVD going, and then we go make another new low. So the selling is definitely overwhelming. 15-minute 9 EMA is down to 638. I've got VWAP is starting, again, it's still starting to flatten out a little bit. So if we don't make a new high here, I would imagine that will be the point of reference for those buyers to take control and try to run it back up. Again, I would still be looking to sell rallies with a 62.25 stop. Nothing here is telling me that I want to be participating on the long side, but you got to be careful down here because you know that the NQ can rip 100 points. Still not seeing any substantial buying come in. Still looking for any kind. I'm just not seeing until you get down to 500. That's where the liquidity is. Got looking at some volume here over here. There was 42 lot spot in the bigs at 541.5. So I would imagine anybody that's trading the MNQs is looking at that. So if you're taking a long, that's what you'd be watching. But again, I think they're still trying to make this whole this guy whole that sold 200 lots down towards the bottom here. There we go. We had a seller step in, sold 24 down to 540 again. Buyer came in, absorbed, bought 23 up to 544. So that was absorbed. Another buyer shows up. He buys another 20 contracts here at 547. Buyers are trying to make a stand here. This kind of do or die for the buyers here. I think they'll give up if they crack it again. Then I'd be looking at challenge on the lows and see if they can't press it a little bit lower. Buyers were absorbed again. Sellers kicked in. There you go. Another little stop run. Mostly retail, guys. Mostly retail. What you're looking at on that screen right there, I'd be looking at some sort of a box to pop up if we get some consolidation here. And it's either going to keep running in the direction of the breakout. Here we go. Sellers are popping in. Sold 24, sold another 23 down at 33, sold another 36 at 30. Okay, that big seller was made whole. See what happens here. CVD is getting punished. Negative 5,700 right now and still moving. Let's go challenge the lows. Had another seller show up, sold another 27 lots down to 20. Had another one, 23 lots down here at 510. They're pressing, they're pressing, they're pressing. CVD is in their favor. They want they're 72 on the big, in the bigs on the bid at 500. They're going to want that volume right there. That's all liquidity. That's, as I said, that's usually where they're looking to go. Buyers come in. Big seller just showed up, 133 lots at 500. Just traded hands, and they hit that 75 on the bid on the bigs. They dumped another 25 at 97.75 and another 20 lots down to 95.50. Now that's interesting, especially if we wick it down here. That was a good press. CVD starting to rebound a little bit. Doesn't mean that this is over. Just means that right now buyers, we're going to want to see some big buyers materialize. You got 123 contracts in the big sitting up at 550. That'll be a point of reference. That's just a passive seller sitting up there looking for a 50-point run up to the top. So put that in the back of your head. Seller's still coming. CVD is not following right now. Got a nice little bounce CVD. Buyers are definitely trying to absorb right here. Still watching about 170 contracts down here on the lows. Got a small buyer that absorbed right there. Who's going to win this battle? CVD still flattened out right now. Still flat, still flat. So in the last 45 minutes, you have 210, 100, 300, about 500 contracts sold below 500 this morning. That would be more of an institutional type of trader that's short down here and still looking for more room to the downside. CVD starting to give it up again. More selling came in on the micros, sold another 34 at 500, sold another 20 at 98, and sold another 20 at just below that at 97. Buyers absorb it. Good little rally here. CVD is starting to pump. We're back above negative 5,500. Got right to the 90 MA. Should see a little sharp drop here. See if the buyers can pick it back up. So if I was short up here, where would my stop go? It'd be at 42.50 is probably where I'd stick that. Had a buyer come in, reach up 20 lots at 528.50. Seller came right back after absorbing that, sold another 23 down to 25. Buyers are still trying to take control. CVD is pumping right now. So good buying coming in. Look for that 550 in the bigs to transact, and then some of that selling that was at 550 is now up to 600, just so you know. Again, 542.25 would be 542.50 would be a stop if you were going to sell any kind of rally. If the buyers can take that whole candle back on the 1023 candle, then the dynamics down here would absolutely change. And I think you'd see that 90 MA on the 5 minute start to turn up. Right now, obviously, they're pressing. If you go ahead, what did we talk about? A challenge on that 60-minute wick. They not only hit that, but took it a little bit lower. We're still in the golden zone. If you take the low to the high yesterday, from the low yesterday night, or Sunday night, you are still sitting in that golden zone for the fib, if you're a fib guy. So these are things that you want to watch. This is the bulk of the volume today. This is the dogfight right in this little level right here. Again, CVD is not showing us that sellers have the momentum at this point. It's just flat. Doesn't mean the buyers have it. It just means it's flat right now. Had another buyer show up here. Buyer showed up, bought 43 contracts to 22.75. Little absorption here. Buyers trying to make a comeback. Still not seeing any kind of buyer activity that makes me say, hey, this is worth getting involved in. CVD starting to sink again, so a little bit more sell pressure. Ideally, what I'd like to see is either a new low, a new 5-minute low, come in with CVD not showing us that they have the wherewithal to keep going, and then this market to turn around and get a nice green candle. Then I would start start playing this from the long side. Where would my objective be if I was long down here? Well, you can see that white line on that chart, right, sitting on that volume profile that cuts right across. That's right below the VWAP for the day. That would be where I'd be playing to. So I think there's a good trade getting ready to happen. It's just we're too early right now. CVD starting to sink again. Sellers taking back into control. See if they can't make these guys right. If you were long down here, if you're bullish, you do not want to own this below 495.50. Doesn't mean you can't make some money to the upside, because buyers are going to take a shot down here. It's just whether or not they're going to take it here or a little bit lower. And again, you're starting to get closer and closer down to the zone. Anything below 400, 25,400, you're going to start to see institutional traders come back in. Again, if you've ever listened to me before, I can tell you that institutions are looking for 800 to 1,200 points in a move. And so that would be right in the wheelhouse there. 34 sold, down at 500 again. Sellers pressing. More selling coming in, more selling pressure coming in. 28. Another 20 at 495. Buyers absorb. CVD is not in their favor. And that's going to end today. We don't have anybody actually participating.